sedated, intoxicated. We're automated and overpopulated. Don't you know we're the walking dead, dead, dead? Our lives were meant to be this bleak. Somehow they got into our heads, heads in our heads. We're wide awake, yet still asleep. We're the walking dead. We're the walking dead, dead. Oh, 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 oh. We're the walking dead. We're the walking dead, dead. Oh, 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 oh. Highly sedated, intoxicated. We're automated and overpopulated. We're all fish in a stream, swimming towards a vicious dream. Don't you know we're the walking dead, dead, dead? Our lives were meant to be this bleak. Somehow they got into our heads, heads, heads. We're wide awake, yet still asleep. We're the walking, we're the walking dead. Fear and hatred, dull and jaded. It's all been debated and manipulated. Nothing's ever as it seems. We're bound to believe everything they scream. Don't you know we're the walking dead, dead, dead? Our lives were meant to be this bleak. Somehow they got into our heads, heads, heads. We're wide awake, yet still asleep. We're the walking dead. We're the walking dead, dead. Oh, 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 oh. We're the walking dead. We're the walking dead, dead. Oh, 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 oh. Highly sedated, intoxicated. We're automated and overpopulated. Don't you know we're the walking dead, dead, dead? Our lives were meant to be this bleak.
Hi there, they call me the Governor, and welcome to a special night as we talk about the finale of Fear the Walking Dead. And we have 2 episodes to cover, and I have to say, this last half season has not been as bad as I had feared. Not as good as I hoped, but not
No
as
pun
bad
intended.
as I feared. But before we get into that, let's have everybody who showed up, who were also here yesterday with the amazing Cooper Andrews. Jack, say hello.
Hello. Very glad to be here. Very glad to wrap up Fear and hear what everyone thought about it.
Absolutely, Bebe.
Baby. Can't wait to talk about the 2 final episodes. So let's just get to it.
All right, then we'll skip Busy. No, Busy, go ahead.
Funny stuff, dude. So I'm glad to be here. I'm really glad the show didn't drag on even longer than it already had. So I'm really glad to just talk about it. Keep rolling your eyes, Jack. Keep rolling your eyes.
Oh,
But,
I'm just
you know,
happy you're
I'm
on
just
time.
Yeah, I'm happy. See, I already had to listen to that with Jack.
I'm
really
pretending to be the
let's
people
take
in
it
your
easy.
comments that are complaining about you complaining.
Screw that, man. I stood here. I've been strong, and I have talked to you guys, and I have been civil about it. So that's all you can do. Be civil.
Oh, that's over now.
It's over now, man. Going crazy.
All right.
No one's safe here.
Alex, say hi.
Hi, everybody. I'm very excited to be here tonight. And I'm not going to lie, I could possibly get emotional because I was a wreck when I watched the episode. So I'm going to try my best. But I'm
Did you
not
react
making
to
any
it?
promises.
Did you react to it?
Sorry.
Did you do
No,
a
I did
reaction?
not.
You got to get those tears on camera. They sell. You
Come on,
know
they
that.
sell,
I
man.
did get some on camera and I put
Okay.
them on my Instagram story.
Okay, good.
But it
Put 'em on
wasn't like
YouTube,
the
too.
Put 'em on
episode.
YouTube, homie.
Put them on there as like
I
a
know.
short.
Child, she be like having them copyright things. Child, she's
Yes.
scared. She is scared.
Well,
I've had so many copyright issues. It's ridiculous. I'm just so tired of it.
I'll send you some stuff, and not the one that we worked out busy, like the super official one, but I got ones that work with Walking Dead. Don't worry, I got you covered.
Thank you.
we all
Baby, I
help
got
each
you too
other
if
in
you
this
need 'em.
community.
Yeah, we have a team of lawyers on our side.
So it's nice to
Funny
see some
thing.
people in the chat as well who were here yesterday.
Hey, Big Rob.
Like Big
Hey, Big
Rob,
Rob.
and Amani and
Hey, girl. Hey, Tatai.
Faith Warren is here. Larry Reed.
Robin S.
Robin
came
S.
in first
Larry
today.
Bird,
Yeah.
what?
And she talked about something that happens at the end of the second episode, which we are definitely going to talk about because for me it was the most touching part. But we're gonna start out with the second to last, the penultimate episode, and talk about that. Which basically it seems Troy was up to his old tricks again. Because didn't he do this in season 2?
Three.
Three, baby.
3? I don't know. I didn't see
In a
those
way,
episodes.
yeah. I think in a way,
Dude.
yeah. But not as crazy as because he was crazy in season 3.
I'm gonna
I
be
think
so
they
honest. I don't remember much from because I've only watched Fear once, so I don't remember like everything. You know.
Yeah.
Before
I
season
don't
4,
have
'cause
fear
season 4
knowledge
is-
like I got Walking Dead knowledge.
Yeah,
let
season
me
4
tell
is when
ya.
I started reacting to it. So at that point, you're technically watching the episodes twice when you're editing them and all that stuff. So I can remember
more
a
than
little
twice.
more. Yeah, but at this point, I'm not like
You get
before season
copyright.
4. I don't know much. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Mombi's in her feels about the copyright. Damn.
like season 1 and 2 is kind of
I
murky.
watched every episode like 4 times.
Oh, really?
Nah. They go after the hardcore fans, not the casuals like me.
Right. The little people like me, what the hell?
Well, that is
Aren't you like
why
6 feet tall?
eventually I made my reaction
Who's
so
6
it only
feet
had
tall?
3 seconds of footage
Alex.
and disappeared. So,
I'm 5'6".
Okay. That's average.
Oh.
Where'd you get
Gremlin.
6 feet tall from, bro?
I don't know.
Maybe I should start saying
camera
I'm 6
angle.
feet
Because I
tall.
take up like all of my screen.
Well, because you're good with your camera angle.
I'm 5'9". Should I just start
Thank you.
adding the 3 inches?
I mean, you
That's
could
a
go get that
gremlin,
surgery
my
to get
God.
the
That's
metal
crazy.
He's
rods.
just
Still
now
be
he's
shorter
just
than
sitting
me,
up.
Busy.
He's like,
My fault, big dog.
Nah, but
Not
you're
all of us can have good genes. My mom was
wouldn't say I got
born
good
from
genes.
Central America. I didn't expect to be an NBA player.
no, but I'm
I
seriously
didn't
over
either.
Troy.
Good at
I'm
soccer
over
because
Troy.
of her, though.
I'm done with Troy. I'm done with him. It's
Yeah.
like his bullshit. It goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Amani.
Well,
Thank
you
you.
are awesome. Thank you so much for the super chat. And
Wait,
we-
Skid
I
Mark
had
came back?
so much fun in trivia yesterday.
Oh, don't act like you
Izzy,
don't know.
stop it.
He's spoiling it.
We all
What,
know it
the
happened.
skid mark? I mean, everyone
Everybody
who's
here
in
knew it
this, who's watching now, should have seen the last 2 episodes.
You
And
better
yes,
have
it's
or
jumping
leave
ahead
now.
to talk about the Skid Mark Daniel reunion. Because
might not
that
be able to
was
stay the
that
whole
was
time.
that almost brought a tear to my eye, the one that I have left. So yeah, that was good. But Troy, yeah, I'm definitely with you. His bullshit, just shows through all the time. So
All the time. And it's the same bullshit
Yeah.
over and over
'cause-
and
In
over.
because in season 3 he was worse, but in this one he was not as bad as in the third one, but yeah, he's a piece of shit. Piece of crap. Dang, damn.
He
it.
seemed like he had
you can say
some
that word.
feels for Madison in season 3, but I don't know if that was the case or not. Like they had a really weird dynamic,
Oh yeah. Oh
Very weird.
yeah.
like very heavy on the mommy issues.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I
it was
don't
like some
remember any of
Lance
that.
Pamela type stuff, honestly. Like when she was like caressing his head and shit. Like I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah.
Busy's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Like when Troy
I don't
held
remember
a
that.
Madison from behind in season 3, and I'm like, hold up, what is this? What is all this? I'm like, I'm not liking this at all.
I don't remember. I tried to rewatch the first episode the other day, and the episode felt like it was like 3 hours long. Like it was
Like the like pilot.
yeah,
Yeah, it was a really long pilot. I
it was
really
an
liked
hour,
it,
but
though.
it felt like it was like a lot longer than it actually was.
Yeah.
Of
and-
fear?
Of
Yeah.
fear. I still remember
loved
watching the
it.
first episode and being like, I don't really like any of these people, except Licking Castellanos.
Tobias.
His character was like the only one. I'm like, okay, he needs to show up again.
Yeah,
with
I'm
all
seeing
kinds
like
of knives.
I'm seeing like theories like if everyone goes back to LA at the end of it, and like Tobias is running his own community.
Bro,
and
I have
fire what have you.
wanted him to come back for years.
Mm-hmm.
He was so prepared. He was like the gamer there that like was on 4chan and Reddit. It turned like, but it actually paid off, kind of thing. Oh,
Yeah, I interviewed him long time ago, like right after season 1. So
wow.
Damn.
and we
Well,
we had
whenever
talked
somebody
about-
says Tobias, I think of Tobin.
yeah, but
What a
that's
legend.
totally different person, but
Totally different
he got
person.
it on with Carol, so kudos to him.
And then he died.
And then he died, so
Like a
Makes
month
sense.
later.
I'm not sure what it is because the time can be a little bit tricky. It's weird when you're watching it each week. It seems longer than it probably is in the show.
In the
Yes.
timeline, 100%.
Yeah.
So if you binge it, it's like, probably a little more true to life. And then they do all the crazy time jumps, and all kinds of stuff happens. But
Just never know where you are.
Yeah.
apparently, what's the little girl's name? Tabitha? Tracy.
Tracy.
I don't know why I said Tabitha. But Tracy gets back with her dad, and they are gathering walkers for an assault on, Padre. Which she was like, well, how are we going to do this? They're on an island. We can't just walk them over there, which was good. But, I figured they had a boat or something they could load it on. I don't know how they find all these functional vehicles all the time.
And the gas and the walkie-talkie batteries.
And
Well, they have a
Tracy-
refinery, so
Troy.
that's why they have gas. At least they kind of explain that. But there's a refinery that Padre has put Luciana in charge of because she became this refinery expert. Back in season? Was
5?
it season 5? Latter half
With the
of season
kids?
5? Yeah, with the kids doing the child labor. It was.
It's the apocalypse. There is no child labor.
One of the biggest mistakes was getting rid of child labor. Not factories and stuff, but like it builds character. Like
You're
corner
crazy.
stores and McDonald's.
Hey, I was a paper boy, so
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with building character and learning responsibility at an early age. And your
You got
team.
to ride your bike around and throw papers at shit. That had to be fun.
I didn't. I actually walked. and
That's such an
and I-
oversimplification.
And I put I didn't throw papers. I put them nicely in the little hooks underneath some people's mailboxes.
Yeah.
You
Or
left
in
a
the
little
door.
note.
You
I
weren't
read
the
the
one that
film.
was like, oh, let's see if I can get it in the same place
Yeah.
every day. Just
I
like
did not
time
ride
it
my
right,
bike.
right
I-
speed, right spot.
Nope. I walked and I delivered. None of this bike shit. Would have been nice to throw them, I guess, but yeah. So Yeah, they didn't explain how Tracy got back to Troy. We figure she must have just ran until she found him. But
She probably knew where they were.
yeah, she probably had an idea. I have to say, she's a smart kid, overall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she did something that a lot of us wanted to do. At one point, she shot Madison, which, ever since she's been back, I've been like, why is she back? She was very annoying the last episode. And in this episode, she was in the second to last episode. She was still annoying. And like, I'm going to do this on my own. I don't need anybody else. And then...
I mean, that's Carol. Carol and Madison are parallel to each other when it comes to their independence.
Well, independence is one thing, but except when she's like wanting revenge on Alpha, which, Carol had some dark times.
Quite a few.
But she wasn't as much of an asshole as Madison. Usually.
She
Not much,
was a
but
bit
she-
of an
she-
asshole
she-
before
She
her bad
killed
times.
David and
Karen and David, yeah.
Karen and David in
No,
cold
but
blood.
she was an asshole to Sam. No, that's she was awful to him. She was
Oh,
like totally
nightmare.
disregarding everything. She's like, "Your dad died. Get over it. Go home."
Well,
Yeah,
we all
she
know
did.
how Carol is with kids, so
Yeah,
you
keep them away from her.
yeah, she should never be a babysitter. Carol,
I mean, she's a-
you don't like your kids, you get Carol to be a babysitter.
Tamaj and Michonne just did a video on that, actually.
Really?
I didn't.
Yeah.
It's on my list of things to watch. It's a longer one though, and I want to do it in one sitting. But yeah, they also had one about a Negan debate, but the amount of times I've debated and talked about that in length with both of them on and off air, I pretty much know all their talking points on that, so I don't really need to watch it because I know everything they're going to say already. But the Carol thing, they usually just try to stop the conversation before it even happens most of the time with the Carol thing. So I'm actually interested to hear what they have to say on it because I feel like they actually probably have very interesting and complex points on it.
That might be interesting to watch, and I would promote it more if they were actually here. But
When Tracy shot Madison, I actually did cry because it's the show started with Madison. Madison was the backbone of this show, and it just was like this whole time all she's been wanting to do is find her kids, and then she got sucked into Padre, and then she finds out about her kids, and then she's still trying to find her kids, and then all of a sudden her supposed granddaughter kills her. And I was just a mess. I was like, no, this could not be happening right now.
no, you see,
I
main
had to pause
characters,
it.
one bullet will never kill them. You have to like shoot them, run them over, chop them into little bits,
And even
spread
if
them
it did
out.
kill
Hey,
her,
you
we would
thinking
get
like
like
me,
the,
Governor. What's wrong with you?
even if it did kill her, we would get like the next 45 minutes of her bleeding out, like just remembering everything that happened throughout the last like 9 seasons.
Yeah,
So
I mean, only
But
only
even then,
secondary
I
and background
didn't-
people, one bullet kills them.
I wasn't a fan of it, man, because it's like they just kept throwing shit at us like throughout the last few episodes. Like she's alive, she's not alive. Then oh, she's
Yeah.
your grandkid. And then when they said that shit at the end of the last episode, like I had to get up. Like it was, to me, it just felt like this is stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just they were just I don't even know how to explain it, but I was getting so frustrated because it just felt like they were making shit up as they were going. So as soon as she got shot, I was like, I don't even care what happens at this point. Like I didn't even know what was gonna happen, but I was like, all right, you know.
I have
Oh.
to say when, and again, we're getting, towards the end of the first of the 2 episodes, but I do have to say when Troy revealed that Alicia was the mother, I'm like, well, at least he's not claiming to be her actual bio father, because
Yeah.
that wouldn't have happened. But I'm like, how would this work out? I mean, if Alicia, had been pregnant, maybe from that guy who got thrown off the roof,
Well,
Will,
That was so crazy.
And then she didn't realize she was pregnant until after she had everyone jump on the boats, which seemed like there'd be a bit of time there. So
Like that was
I
the
didn't
real reason
believe it.
she was sick. She was just reacting terribly to the pregnancy instead of
I
it
didn't
being the
believe
bite.
it.
But
Honestly,
Troy,
I was just like, because this was a theory. Like when the kid was introduced, people were like, "What if
Yeah,
Alicia's the
there
mother?"
were a lot of fan theories.
And
I
I'm
remember.
just like, yeah, and I'm just like, like if that happens, that'd be pretty cool. But I would really not like the idea of Troy being the father. Like I
Yeah.
think that would be terrible writing. I think it would be terrible. So with when he announced that, like I took the kid because that was the like way to make amends or whatever.
Collateral.
I honestly thought it was like I was like, you know what, I'll take this. I kind of think that them kind of saying she's related to Alicia is kind of weird, but at the same time, I'll take it better than her like kind of forgiving Troy and them having like some type of thing. I thought that would have been ridiculous. So I was like, you know what, I'll come to terms with this. And then when they announced that wasn't the case, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what are you doing to us? Like, it was aggravating.
I almost accept the fact that almost did for Tracy being Alicia being the mother of Tracy because of Tracy's attitude and Alicia's attitude. And I'm like, well, it does make sense because they got that, that strength. Like, I ain't gonna do this, I'm gonna do this way. But then I'm like, I just don't want, like Busy said, I don't want like Troy to be the father. That's it. But
yeah, that was one of my problems with that fan theory was Troy could not be the father.
Like
yeah,
I was so
never.
scared they were trying to find some type of redemption for this dude.
yeah,
Like I
and-
was so nervous, and I'm just like him being the father of like Alicia's kid. I thought would have just been so forced in order to get his redemption. Like Madison would be like, "Well, technically you're family now," and I was like, I would have been so fucking aggravated.
they probably
man.
heard us because we're getting tired of it.
It did kind of bum me out that the actor's gone now because there are a few characters from the main show that I would have loved to see him interact with, but I get why Madison did it, and I feel like they learned from dealing with cranky fans about Negan, and they're like, since this is ending, let's just end it. I feel like if it was still going on, they probably wouldn't have killed him there. Like if they had,
No.
if it had like skyrocketed and like everyone was fucking loving the show again, and they had like another season or two, they definitely wouldn't have killed him there. They would have had
Right.
her like fight and like battle with trying to keep him around, like for Alicia for like another season.
Yeah.
Well,
Also, maybe I'm just
I do
complaining,
have-
but I feel like the whole Madison thing. I feel like, she decided to kill him, but I feel like the way she switched up when Tracy talked to her, I feel like that happened way too fast. Like the way she kind of like
Yeah,
saw the light. I feel like that was just like
that was
a big
we
switch
need
out of
to
the
wrap
blue.
this up.
Like I get
Yeah.
you got shot, so you saw things differently, and that is a big reason. But I don't know. I just feel like they should have showed us a little more so we could understand. I don't know, feel it a little more.
I think it was less about Tracy and more about Alicia.
Well, I mean, didn't Strand specifically say it was because of you?
Yeah,
To Tracy?
because she was all she had left of Alicia.
Oh yeah.
Other than the medal. But I do have to say, I actually got the feel I got the feeling that they were going to actually have Troy switch sides. That he was actually coming around, and it just seemed that the way that Madison killed him was like she was being a major bitch. If he had done something or revealed something, right before she decided to kill him, but she went over and he had saved her life, pulled her out of the muck, and it seemed like he was willing to, he had done some unforgivable things, but then again, so did
Yeah.
Negan. But he also was like, it seemed he was coming around.
I mean, you
And-
could kind
I
of
think
see
that
it coming.
Madison saw through his bullshit.
Yeah.
And I think that she, because of how many times he changed his story, and every single time, was it Daniel or was it
I think she was
Victor
just.
that was saying he's gonna say what he needs to say to stay alive.
No, I felt
And
like she was just
fed
butthurt
into it every
at that point.
time. She held up her part of the deal, then he made a
yeah.
deal, and he held up his end of the deal.
'Cause this ain't
But
the first,
then she could just feel that it was all a setup.
Yeah, 'cause
It
this ain't the
wasn't to
first
benefit
time.
her.
This ain't the
Yeah.
first time that she had to deal
Nah,
with
I feel-
Troy being that way, because Troy always say one thing and then he say something totally different. So how many times am I going to have to deal with that now.
And that's why they did it to us, to confuse us and make us feel just like
so
Madison.
I feel like she was just really butthurt about the whole situation. Because, I mean, even if he was going to change, I think she just is past a forgiving point. Like, even if she felt like he could change, I think she was just like, nah, I'm fed up. But at the same time, like, you could kind of see it come. Like, I wasn't sure what they were going to do. But as soon as he started getting so handsy with her, like, he's like, Madison. And he puts his hand on her shoulder. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I'm like, bro,
Personal space.
she's in the perfect position to just, like, I'm like, what are you doing? And it just kept going on. And then she, of course, finished him.
Yeah,
But
maybe
was
I
just
would
like, what is he doing?
feel more justified about his death if I had seen him being a prick back in season 3. But since I skipped all those episodes,
dude, I don't get how you're hosting this if you haven't seen those seasons, man. That's crazy.
Because I have the technology.
We have technology.
Technology.
So to rewind just a little bit, I just thought of this. I remember when Troy was impaled by the tree and he was stuck in the truck. He couldn't get out for his own daughter, but he got right out for Madison.
For himself. Because
Yes,
she was going to
Part
kill
of
him.
me feels like that was almost just poor writing.
And
The show doesn't
Wait,
have bad writing. Why
Poor
would they do that?
writing.
Are you
Fear?
so crazy?
Are you kidding?
Hey, I said the same thing.
Poorer writing.
Not because honestly, the way I saw her, it was just like a fight or flight instinct. You know, like he knew that he'd rather her get out of the way. You know, but as soon as Madison had that hammer, like she was gonna go like that, so he wasn't gonna go out that way. So I think he just did everything he could to kind of get out of that situation. I don't think it was like a fight or flight with
I mean,
Tracy.
as a parent, you do whatever you can to stay alive for your kid.
But the thing is, for Tracy, he knew like she needed to get out of there. If he was to, he would have just slowed her down if he got forced himself out.
Yeah, because if he got out of
that.
it, she wouldn't have left.
I mean, so like he knew like he was just telling her to get out of here, like, and she eventually left because he knew that of course he's not going to be able to slow her down if he's not with her. So when it came down to Madison with the straight up ready to just push his head in, bro, of course he was going to react differently. And but
yeah,
I don't know.
And I have to say, I can kind of relate to having a dead loved one, saving, not putting them out of their misery as a biter, kind of keeping them in a spot. I can kind of understand that. I used a closet. He used some frozen riverbed, but
Dude, literally, all I thought about was the governor. When Madison came along and stabbed his wife, and he was like, "You had no right. You had no right." I'm just thinking about how Michonne straight up destroyed Penny. Like, I'm just like, yo, that's like literally like the parallels just kept hitting my head.
Did you have PTSD on
Yeah, he
that?
def had PTSD when that happened. Because he's like, you had no right. And I kind of felt for him there. Because, I mean, he's been having his wife around for the longest time. But at the same time, he's been trying to use his wife to kill Madison. So when Madison defends herself and she's like, you can't do that. It's against the rules. I'm just like, dude, like, what are you doing? You literally were forcing her head towards your wife so she could die. I don't know what you want.
How dare you defend yourself? Yeah, I mean, I don't really miss Troy, but I wasn't feeling like Madison was like above reproach in the way she did it, especially with Tracy there. You had to know Tracy was not going to react very well to Madison putting Alicia's old arm through his chest or through his stomach.
Man, I think we all knew what she was going to do.
And to find out that it happened twice, that shocked me too. That was awesome. Alicia did it, and then Madison did it.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
And then for him to say that, oh yeah, that's Alicia's daughter. I say, if that's the case, if that was true, why you didn't say anything like, well, you ain't gonna let her know anyway until your last breath. So it's like that
was his last ditch effort.
And then she was gonna say, no. I was a bit pissed off a little bit with this episode. It was just flip flopping. Some shocking moments. Now there was some moments that I was like, "Dag, Madison, I see you a little bit." But then after that, I call her a last minute Madison. I say, now you start doing something good.
But so the other villain in this episode was, the Padre dude.
Flippin' Bird, yeah.
Crane.
Yeah.
The same thing. It's the same thing.
And
Flipping
it's
bird.
like Crane. First of all, I don't remember exactly what happened once they took over the island. What did he run? Did they let him go? Did they capture? I have no
They
idea.
exiled him. I don't know.
I thought they killed him because he was in the office when they blew up the mirror.
I
Yeah,
thought
I
they
mean, they
exiled
should have
him.
killed him, or
Well, he witnessed his sister dying, didn't he?
Oh yeah,
Or
No.
who's
Because
sister?
he
either that or he just
Right.
found out how
No.
she died.
Troy
Yeah.
had a
Somebody
sister?
told.
no, not Troy.
no, we're talking about
Crane.
Crane.
Yeah, flipping bird. I ain't gonna give him Crane.
The guy that got his dad killed.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
went crazy because of it and decided to steal children from their parents. Yeah,
Appropriate response.
But I'm thinking.
No, you're right, Jack. You're right. I'm sorry. You're right. He saw she was already bit, but when they went to the infirmary in that long train or whatnot,
Yeah.
yeah.
Madison let it happen because it was Madison or June. They used the head of her dad to just let it bite her multiple times.
Oh, I forgot all about that. I thought she
it was
died
wild.
on like right next to the water. when
But
the
she,
father-
Yeah, she
she'd
did.
already gotten bitten, right? 'Cause
Yeah, she already got
By
bit.
then, yeah.
She was like, "My daddy, oh my daddy."
Yeah,
my
see, I
daddy."
thought that's where she died.
And then let her daddy bear her neck.
But
The show is so
I don't
memorable.
understand
But why
if
was
they
he
would have
on-
exiled him, because he obviously knows where Padre is, and that's what they were trying to keep secret. So he could have, very easily gathered an army and, invaded again Padre. You don't let people out
I
like
thought
that.
that Shrike let her dad bite her.
Yes,
Yeah.
she did.
Yeah.
I don't. She
Okay.
did it more out
Okay,
of
I
like
thought
she
that-
was in shock,
yeah.
wasn't she? Like she was just.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought somebody said Madison made him do it.
No,
Okay.
no. At the end, I'm pretty sure they did the treatment. Like they held the wall. The torture device. Like they had the
The
walker.
thing that they
Yeah,
did for
Yeah, for the kid.
Ben-
Dwight and Sherry's kid. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I guess that's how she died, right? No,
I,
or that's how
I
she got
thought
bit.
that
I can't.
they-
I don't remember.
I don't
man.
remember which happened first, but I'm pretty sure she was in the chair because I
I'm
remember
searching it
that
up.
they used his head at some point.
Mm-hmm.
No, they did. I'm just trying. I'm gonna search it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
like,
See,
we
my
know
question-
that's how
you
much
love
we
your
all love
daddy.
and care about this.
So
that
my
we
question
forgive
is
so
that
easy.
his character was wasted. I don't understand why he came back at all. I'm like, he's here.
to give conflict to
Yeah.
us,
But what
That's it.
conflict? It's just men.
to make us mad. That's it.
Yeah.
And to
Yeah.
strap,
To make us mad.
Troy and Madison together so that they could bond. Not just physically, but emotionally.
Mhm.
And,
That pissed me off because then I was like, now here comes a redemption arc for Troy. And I'm like, look, we don't need this where two of them, like they had to work together now. And then later on, well, actually, my dream did come true. Never mind. I'm going to keep quiet. I'm like, do Crane and then, have them work together. Then I want Madison to kill Troy at the end. But at the same time, I was like, but I don't like that because the redemption, he probably won't die. And they're going to make him a good guy and he will live to like the last.
So
Not
you
another
people are
day.
horribly violent and cruel. I mean, you don't think that anyone deserves a second chance? Come on,
Not
go
Troy.
go by Alicia's standards.
Oh, and that's another thing is when he said that he deserved a second chance or whatever, I was like, but you've gotten like 3 or 4 chances. You're done, bro.
Thank you. Thank you. Like Strand. Strand got many chances.
Let me check your punch card. Oh shit, you've already used
Right.
your second chance.
Strand got many
Yeah.
chances and many chances.
You used your second chance 3 chances ago.
But
Bye.
Troy, no. And I know people going to say that, well, how come Troy cannot can't have a second chance, but Negan can? I'm like, but Negan doesn't flip flop. Okay, he meant what he said. Okay, Troy,
Yeah.
you don't know. He lies. So
The only time Negan flip flops is when someone makes him flip flop.
mhm.
Yeah.
Troy's a-
Carol, Maggie. Yeah.
that's it. Said what I said.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
I
saying
said
Troy
what I
was a great
said.
guy, but I'm just saying it looked like they were setting up for redemption, and then they did the shock thing of Madison killing him. But Again, despite the fact that he may have deserved it, the way she did it just came off as wrong.
Eddie.
Yeah, petty and just, almost out of the blue, like...
Ew, Tom. Tom's just like the governor. Jeesh.
Tom?
But
He said Troy got a hand job from mother and daughter. Sounds like something the governor would say.
Sounds about right.
That's
that's
that is-
accurate.
I
Awful.
didn't even go there. Come on.
Were you thinking it?
Nope.
That sounds
now you
like
can't
you.
stop.
But I do say that sick but clever. Yeah. Thomas says the season was written and planned out for 16 episodes, but AMC went to them and said they could only have 12, which
Thank you.
explains
So they
some of the
were
rushed
rushing
storylines.
everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's
the
how I
reason.
felt. That's exactly how I felt. I was like, I feel like they just don't have enough time to do what they want to do, and everything's just getting jumbled up and confusing and back and forth. And
I don't think the 4 episodes would have really done much, honestly.
Other than
Just
drag
extended
it
our
out.
pain.
yeah,
I feel like it just would have milked it a little bit.
yeah.
I honestly,
And
I
not in
think
the good
Fear
way.
works better when it's shorter episodes. Because, I mean, I feel like what they're doing, like, sometimes with the story they're trying to tell, it's not terrible. I just feel as though they go about it in such a... Since, the episodes or the seasons are longer, they just go about it in the wrong manner. So it just feels like it's getting milked.
but
Yeah.
what if we got those extra 4 episodes, and the last episode was like Madison and Tracy and Alicia in Los Angeles?
Because that
Reviving.
would have felt... I don't know. I feel like when they try to, like, force a whole bunch of, like... Because that's something that I would have loved. But if they force that in, like, a 50-minute time slot, I don't think it would have worked. I mean, same thing goes with, like... I feel like Prison Break has done it on different times where, like, they would end the season and the last 2 episodes of one season felt like it could have been its own, like, arc. But they rushed it in that, like, small period of time they had where it just made it kind of frustrating, you know? Like, it's like, this could have been great, but since we only had 1 episode to work on it, it just felt pointless, you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of glad they didn't go that route.
So I was actually discussing this earlier with May, because the actress who plays Alicia said she was done with the series. She
Yeah.
was not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
No, she
So-
wasn't.
So we're not sure if it was like she was lying because she's like, yeah, I'm coming back for the finale, or if it was like she was definitely done with the series, or maybe they lied to her and said you're done with the series, so she didn't know. And then they said, oh, by the way, money, as Busy was saying. So
Money talks, bro.
Was it that she wasn't going to come back initially and they offered her a lot of money, or she knew she was coming back, but she said that to basically, make this a huge surprise? Which it wasn't that much of a surprise for me, because when I was looking up graphics for this stream, before I watched the episode, I saw Alicia sitting next to Madison. So it was like,
Well,
oh,
why the heck did you do that, silly?
because I needed to set up the stream early enough for the social media stuff to get out.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
I couldn't wait till I finished the episodes because it would have been like an hour's notice. So
Yeah.
I
I
need
mean,
to get the
people...
word out.
Oh, yeah, because it is Tuesday. That's fair.
Yeah, because
If it was a normal Monday, then they know to expect it.
we had this trivia thing last night, which was a lot of fun, but I hadn't watched
Can
the
I
episodes.
say this? Can I say this about yesterday? I want to say to Cooper that I apologize for not greeting you and not saying hello. It's my bad. And maybe maybe it was rude and had nothing to do with you. I was having like a pissy moment. I'm trying not to cuss on pissy moment, but that was so rude of me not to greet you saying hello. That's like before we had gone on live. And whatnot.
I don't
See, I
think
didn't know he was gonna be here. I joined the live and he was right there. So the first thing I said was, "Hey, man, how you doing?"
Yeah, because at the end, I said, I did not greet Cooper at all and said hello. And I love his character so much. I'm like, oh my gosh. So Cooper, if you ever watching this, I'm sorry. Hey, how you doing?
I saw the post. I'm sure he'll check that out at some point, and I can convey your apologies. But I don't think he really took offense because it did surprise some people, and and yeah, busy. See, this is why I run those streams, because
Yes, sir. Man got the connections, the networking skills.
Because he's like, yeah, he gets to introduce Michael Cudlitz and Ross.
Nah, for sure. I felt
and-
like a big dog when you were like, "Hey, I'd like you to meet my friend Busy." I was like, "No fucking way, bro."
But I mean, honestly, if you met Cooper or Michael or any of those guys without me, they'd be just as friendly.
Well,
Oh,
yeah, but they
Michael's
wouldn't.
fucking awesome.
I feel like it felt more natural with you introducing me, because they weren't like expecting like 100 people in a line to just come up and, they have a
Right.
routine. I feel like when they're greeting people,
You stood apart because you weren't in the line. Yeah. Anyways, let's get back to Fear the ending of the show. Yeah. So, pretty much the penultimate episode was all about Troy, and supposedly at the end they took care of the herd. They dispersed it. Guess not. Let's talk about the finale. We're past the halfway point of the hour. Not that we ever stick to an hour, but
It wouldn't be us, man.
yeah, it wouldn't be us if we weren't here for 2.5 hours or more.
Okay, so in the finale, it was the flashbacks for me. The flashbacks gutted me. Nick,
Oh, yeah.
Alicia. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. It was too much.
I'm like,
I
is
was
she
like,
gonna-
what?
Yeah,
Do
I was
I?
like, is Madison gonna die? Because
Yeah.
you would have those flashbacks unless you're gonna die, like somewhere in the middle at the end of the episode. But that wasn't the case at all.
Yeah, I didn't know what they were doing, but I did think one of the scenes I thought was really well done was when they had Strand kind of narrating what happened with Madison, which I thought when she went to go sacrifice herself, I thought that was it. But
And
the
when
way
the
she was
coin
standing on
saved
top
her-
with the flare, I just like it was just I'm like I thought that was handled so beautifully, because of course it
Yeah,
just
that made me
reminded me of
cry
the
too.
stadium. I thought that was
Yeah.
amazing. But
Well-
my favorite part of the entire episode had to have been at the end, which I will talk about once we get there.
But
Yeah,
let's talk about
yeah.
that wannabe Brandon Lee lookalike, Russell. Who came out
No, he didn't look like Brandon Lee. Brandon
Yeah,
Lee
he
was
did. He
hot.
looked like a wannabe Brandon Lee.
He looked like Brandon Lee
Oh, I
like
guess he
3
kinda
years
does.
after he was buried, maybe. But
Oh damn,
Really?
it's a little brutal, man.
Dropped the
Yikes.
bombshell saying that Alicia had died, but really truly like she didn't.
I
It's
mean,
like,
I'm
so
glad we
all-
found out.
No, it's like all this time you told Troy that Alicia is dead, and he ran, and so I'm like, wait just a minute, what? I was like, what is going on? Like Russell, it's you. Basically, it was to me. It was Russell this whole time that told that lie to Troy, saying Alicia is dead, and all that, so that Troy can use that against Madison. It's like I'm like Russell, you mofo.
Well,
You
I mean,
the one that-
I don't think that was his intentions. Like, I mean, like he said, like he was kind of insane when she died. So he said that he honestly felt like she was dead. So like there was no point of them spending like hours or days at a time looking for her when it was almost a sure thing. Because I mean, she got a whole ass like knife to the stomach. Although that's not going to kill a main character, he doesn't know that. I mean, it's I think like he just genuinely thought she was gone. So when
she was a guest star.
yes, yeah. So when he thought, yeah, an extra, whatever. But when Madison was talking, I mean, I think he was just like, okay, like if I can give her any reason to like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let her know, because I mean, it was the smartest play and the only play he had. So it ended up working out, but still.
Yeah,
I don't think he
but
did-
he got it, so that was fun. He got chomped.
Now that part, the way he died I thought it was hilarious. He's like, "Are you guys idiots? If you go out there without protection, you're screwed." He's like, "Yeah, that's why I have you." And then he's like,
Can we
I'm
like
like,
gas up
bro,
Dwight
what?
a bit this
Bro,
episode?
Dwight
He
was the
fucking
dog.
awesome. I was
Yeah.
loving him
Bro.
this episode.
Man was Papa
Yeah.
Savior over here, bro. I was like, what's going on with this dude? Like, he's like, okay, I need people over here. I need you two
He
over
was
there.
like
Like, he's calling the
leading
shots.
shit. I
And I
loved
think
it.
that's what made the ending scene even better when he was like, I say we go back to Sanctuary because this time you fucking do it right. I mean,
And
And
take
he
back the
feels he
I
can
love it. I
properly
love
lead
it.
people.
And I
it
feel like
fits.
them showing this, I mean, although we know he was leading the kids, but I feel like they should have showed this, like the leading skills earlier, because I feel like this was just thrown at us.
Kinda
and
out of
just-
the blue.
I didn't like it. I didn't really like that.
And that is who Carol said over the radio came back.
Now they do a little I don't know. I'm
Or
just, I'm
Morgan.
just reaching.
Thomas
I'm just
Thomas
reaching.
O'Hara said a sure thing.
Or
Troy
the
took 18 shots to the head
variants.
with a hammer and he survived. Well, yeah, but it's shitty writing. It's not. I mean, I don't know what.
Yeah,
what's-
no, I had to accept the fact that Troy was alive in the first. I just had to let that go because that was the most unrealistic part of this whole goddamn season for me, that he was even back to begin with. Because no, I'm sorry, no. Like,
Yes, the
I could have
sanctuary
sworn there was a
collapsed.
scene of the dam flooding too, on top of him getting hit with the hammer twice. And if that was the case, then absolutely not.
Yeah, Alex. I was a little confused with that too because the sanctuary collapsed. So when they said they wanted to go back there, I just was like, okay, that's going to be a lot of work because like I mean,
Yeah,
you literally
the
saw that
roof
shit
made
fall
it.
It's
apart.
defensible, except of course it's open to the
There's
elements now.
nothing to defend.
The only
But-
thing that's left is that kiln.
Nah, I was just like, oh, you know what? If you
I
want
don't
to
think they're
do
going to
that,
fit
you can
everyone
do
in
that.
there.
Nah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you think it's. Do you have confirmation from someone that it was Dwight that Carol said came back? Because I still think it could
I
be
just
Morgan.
No,
have
it just
I
makes
just
sense.
felt like it's either Morgan or Dwight. And now that we have confirmation that Dwight
back.
wants to go back to the sanctuary with Sherry, I'm thinking that it could be them.
I honestly just assumed it was Morgan because, like, with the reunion, with if Rick comes back, it would make more sense. You know what I'm saying? But like, I don't think it's gonna be Rick because I mean, like I said, it's all about her tone.
No shot, it's Rick.
And her tone
Yeah.
was just not there. Like she would have been. I don't think she would have been
She would've
excited,
led
but I
with
think
it.
she,
Yeah,
I don't
if-
think she would have been excited, but I think she would have been a little sympathetic to Daryl because she knows exactly what Daryl has been wanting for the last like 10 years. So I think she would have said like Daryl, like he's back. But like with Morgan, she was just like, or with whoever came back, she was just like, yeah, like as if it was a minor inconvenience. Like,
Someone
oh yeah,
mentioned
by the way,
in my
they're back.
comments that it could be the variants, which I thought was an interesting take.
What,
like
they're
that,
back?
yeah, or like there's more of them or some. I don't know.
Nah, I highly doubt
That's
too.
more plausible to me than Rick.
Well, it's definitely not Rick, but I don't want to say it's Rick, but I don't think it's a I don't think she would be talking like that over a variant. The variants are back. I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
I don't think the variants necessarily went away. I think it's pretty much it's not Rick because she would have led with that. It has to be Morgan or Dwight, and but if Dwight is going to, as people are also saying in the chat, the collapse sanctuary. It's like, what does he get there and like, this is a lot of work. Maybe we can rent some rooms out at Alexandria, and they go there. That's. But I think it's. Morgan is my first guess for the person
Yeah.
who came back, and the.
I mean, because they have all these kids and all these families that need protected now. And if they're going back to the sanctuary and have to rebuild,
I
they
feel
need
like
to put those people somewhere.
I feel like if it was Dwight, then we may have to have a spinoff, just one spinoff of Dwight and Sherry.
I mean, when we were talking to Cooper, I
Of
feel like they
how
were
they
hinting at
even-
some. I need a spinoff. Another one that they haven't
Yeah,
announced.
like if they're gonna do a spinoff of Fear, it probably would be Dwight and Sherry. If it was them at Alexandria, then it's kind of like, okay, they had to deal with another group of people when they do the sanctuary, fighting and the collapse again of the sanctuary. So we need to find a new place to live. Let's go to Alexandria. How far is Alexandria and sanctuary?
Not that far.
Not that far.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the exact amount of because they've never said. We know where Alexandria is supposedly in Alexandria, in Virginia. So, I'm wondering if they could go and go to the Kingdom. The Kingdom they just shut it down, but it was still there.
Does he know where the kingdom is?
Yeah.
He probably does. I mean, the Saviors.
He never
knew where the
went
Kingdom
there,
was.
Well, like he was one of Negan's top guys. I mean,
Yeah.
they have to know
Oh,
where
yeah,
everything
yeah, yeah.
is. Like I'm pretty sure they had like a war room where they had like the map fucking
Right, I
like
forgot about that.
yeah.
Well, yeah, because they did know Alexandria's exact location without being there or being. Well, no, they definitely were there because they knew that the cars were out front. So, but still,
Dabbed.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a lot of work. Thomas said
Same
they're
with the
living from
timeline.
this. But a lot of people are saying that Dwight was.
It brought tears to my eyes when we found out that it was the Christopher coin of Alicia's that saved Madison's life.
Well,
It was like, oh, it did work.
that and
I thought it
the clip helped a little bit.
It kind of reminded me of
I
Rush
think it was
Hour
more
2.
the clip, but
Yeah.
Like Rush Hour 2 with the stab and like, with Chris Tucker, with the cash money and whatnot. I said, oh, so they I was like, wow. I said the medallion, Alicia. Now they're gonna go with oh well, Alicia was right. It can save lives and what have you. But yeah, but when she did shoot Madison, yeah, I kind of felt like because them talking, I'm like something is a bit off. I was like Tracy's gonna do something. I said she's gonna.
I was drinking water when that happened, and I was so caught up. Like I had my picture off. I was taking it. I'm like, oh my god! I was so.
And then all of a sudden she just grabbed it and said, "I said, you know what I need to do? What I need to do?" Then pop. I'm
She
like,
said, "No, you
Anyway,
know why I
she
have to do
started
this."
blasting.
Well,
and Madison was like, "Now you get it."
to skip around at the end when she gave her the St. Christopher medal on that new chain, it was bent, so the bullet hit it. It hit. The clip had something to do with it, but the bullet definitely hit it to cause it to buckle like that. But did anyone else, when Madison was coming to, get Carl and Rick vibes when after I beat the crap out of Rick? And they were in that house.
A little bit.
Yeah, and Rick.
Not
was
really. Honestly, I didn't even think about that. No.
So
What, her moaning?
her moaning and
Mm-hmm.
and Tracy ready to shoot her because she thought she might be turning and be dead.
Wait, Busy, how far are you in Telltale again?
I'm about to start it up again. I'm really behind.
Well, when you, how far did you play up to?
I haven't even finished the first game.
Okay, then never
I'm
mind.
a little past the cannibals.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, don't be spoiling that shit, all right?
That's why I asked, my friend. I could never.
Another thing they're talking about in the chat is Daniel going off on both Madison.
I
and
love that
and
so
Beverly.
fucking
that
much.
was just
Oh my!
it.
Like Daniel's not a good person either. Let's get
But
that
he says
straight.
it how
but
it is, bro. He gonna
yeah,
say
he
he's a good
was
person.
honest. I mean, he's got the most blood on his hands out of anyone in the group because of that move he made in the first season to let that entire stadium out to destroy that perfectly safe military outpost just to get his dead wife, which I won't ever agree with. I still think that was too far, but I appreciated that he was honest and he's like, y'all are bad news.
I like how he said flat out, I like how he keeps calling Alicia. Let's start off with that. He's like, if Alicia is still alive, like she's better off without you. And then you even got Luciana like Daniel, like what are you doing?
Yeah.
Shut up.
I was
Isn't
like,
Alicia
no,
her
that's
real
OG.
name? But Alicia's
Yeah.
her.
It's with a Y, yeah, the actress's name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's pronounced the exact same way, but
I always thought it was
it's-
Alicia Debnam Carey.
ADC.
it's always weird to me when an actor plays a character of the exact same name. I almost think they're
Like
dumb,
it's a 90s sitcom.
and
Oh my-
they can't react to any other name than their own.
Oh, that's funny.
Like Tony Danza was always like he was Tony in like Taxi,
Or like Drake and
he was
Josh.
Tony in Who's the Boss. It's like what? Because he not react naturally to any other name but his own. It's kind of weird.
Busy, you know that Jared Padalecki played a character named Dean and Jensen
Drake and
played a
Josh?
character. No.
What are you talking about?
Sam Winchester, the guy that plays Sam
Yeah,
Winchester.
I know, but like what?
He played Gilmore Girls,
Oh yeah, I never watched that.
but his character in that show was named Dean. And I'm pretty
That's
sure
fine.
that Jensen played a character named Sam before as well, which is even more hilarious.
Comedy, yeah. Hey, yo, Big Rob, we'll be streaming that on the channel.
Telltale?
Yeah, shameless plug-in.
Yes, sir.
That's what we do here. Shameless things.
But yeah, I mean, how far are we right now in the episode? Are we talking about it? I
We've
don't
been
know.
jumping around.
Yeah.
You know,
Because I want to talk about the moment that I think is like one of my favorite moments.
skid mark.
It's yes, but no, the scene where after they all think that Madison's dead and we got the whole Madre moment. When Strand looks, how many of you have seen the Dark Knight movies?
I have.
seen it before.
Oh, so all of you have, so that's okay.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Okay,
and
so,
I
like,
agree.
The way Strand kind of looked in the mirror, and we see Madison, Alicia, and Tracy walking away, and he just kind of acknowledges there. He doesn't need the reunion.
Mhm.
Oh,
It was
mommy.
very awful.
I
He
didn't
doesn't-
say it, but
Yeah, he doesn't need the reunion. It's just the
It was right
acknowledgement.
before that though, with the
As
blue
long as he-
bells in his
Yeah.
cup holder.
As long as he
In the
knows they're
moment, I
alive,
wanted
he's
it, though.
content. He knows they're alive, so he's content. He doesn't need a dramatic reunion, but he can
I
sleep
wanted
at
one,
night
though.
knowing that they're out there and they're safe. And it reminds me exactly of the Dark Knight ending when everyone thinks Bruce is dead. And then we have that scene earlier in The Dark Knight Rises where Alfred says to Bruce, like, I always imagine one day I'll go to this spot, like, I forget what country it's at, but I'll go to this spot and I'll see you there with maybe a kid, your wife, and we won't say anything, but we'll acknowledge each other, and then we'll go out and go out on our own business. And at the end of the movie, when they think that Batman's dead, Alfred continues to go to that spot just as a comfort, because he's like, maybe one day I'll see him there. And he looks,
does.
and he ends up seeing Catwoman and Bruce just there. They look at each other, they acknowledge each other, and then that's it. It was just like the same exact vibe I got from Strand looking at Alicia and Madison. He looks, he acknowledges, he knows they're safe, and that's all he needs. And he goes off with his own business. It was just like the comparison, it hit
Yeah.
me. That got me emotional more than anything else.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, for me, it started when June was talking to Odessa. God, I'm gonna get emotional just thinking about it. Like, it was so beautiful that she brought John Dory back into the story,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yes.
and then for Odessa to be as young as she is, and she was like, "I want to learn. Will you please teach me?" I was
love
just
that.
like,
And you know
and
what?
then talking
And the-
about taking her to the cabin to do it all. That was so
Oh.
sweet.
Oh,
The way,
See,
the way she
John
just like,
should have made it. I'm so
Yeah.
sad that he didn't. If they wouldn't have had half the Walker problems they had if he was there, he would have wrapped that shit up
yeah.
like a burrito. That would have been done.
I agree.
like a burrito is
Will you
crazy.
reload me, honey?
But you know what? With June though, I was so proud of her. You know, after what she did to Jenny, and what was at the beginning of
so
season
fucking
8.
savage.
Yeah, what she did to Jenny, how she chopped off Jenny's hand first. She chopped off Jenny's hand, and then how she just killed Jenny. You know, I'm like, that is savage. And then the beginning of season 8, when she was like, shooting them, I forgot what you call them Padre people that she trying to get away from. I'm like, this is a whole different June than what we have seen before. The flip flop, you
Yeah.
want to infiltrate yourself in the group, and so I'm like proud of her development in this show.
I
in a
was
way.
really worried that they were gonna ruin her character after the first couple episodes of this season, because was it the first half of 8? No, it might have been. So I think it was the first couple episodes after we came back, and they just had like neutered her, like her confidence, everything, and I'm like, that is so not deserved. I know that she is way, way stronger than this, and they have been building her up specifically to be as strong as she is, and it felt like they almost knew that if she was at like full like mental and emotional strength, that it just wouldn't make sense for them to be struggling as much as they were. So they just had to make her like that. And I'm glad that it ended her like with her properly being in a good spot mentally, because I felt that's what she deserved at this point. Like, she's been through enough.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to struggle or suffer anymore.
Hey, she better throw them fingers
Well,
away.
I do find that in this series they have quite often changed the personalities of characters just because they want the plot to be a certain way.
I feel like that's just, you could just attribute that to radiation and let it go.
But yeah, And I did enjoy the return of the guns.
Oh.
Did y'all see John? Not John. Ooh, he gonna kick my butt. You see Garrett's video, thanking everybody on Fear and whatnot. And he brought the hat, like thank you for accepting me, and everything else for the cast and crew. 8 years was a good, for 8 seasons, and then all of a sudden Garrett just got the hat, got John Dory's hat, and I'm just like, no, you didn't.
Well, when I watched the end of the episode, they had a bunch of the cast members, including the ones that were gone, there, and I'm like, "Where's John? Where's John? Well, where's Garrett?" And he did not show up, in that. But I'm gonna have to find that video because
it's on Instagram.
Yeah, when I saw him at Steel City Con, obviously it was during the strike, so I was just telling him that I really was disappointed at the fate of his character on what was it? Be fearful of the perambulating corpses or something like that. And he was just like, I like that, because we couldn't mention the name of the show. But yeah, John should have made it.
Yeah, it took me a long time to react to it because my internet was crazy and people was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" It's like I said, "Y'all need to stop. Don't spoil it for me." Okay, and then when I actually react to it, man, I was heartbroken.
I was livid. Like my face was probably the color of Paul's shirt right now. I was.
It's like he was the only good character besides the OG, like the new one that you connect with, and then so that somebody to take that away, it's kind of like, what's the point of continuing to watch the show?
The two deaths in this show that affected me the most, John, and in the main show, Shiva.
Shiva hurts.
Shiva hurt so bad because Shiva was just being a loyal tiger. Everyone else could reason out, and they it was their decision, and they knew what could happen. Shiva was just, fearlessly defending
protect her friend.
I know, and how Ezekiel felt afterward. Oh God, seeing that,
and his reactions,
Please, Jerry.
that was the
Damn it, let me help her.
That was the best acting to a CGI animal I've ever seen. But anyway, speaking of animals, but not CGI, Skidmark. That was the thing that, But I was trying to figure out how old Skidmark is, at this point.
Oh, he looked old.
Yeah, definitely an older cat, so.
He had that crusty, dusty eyeball. He was like...
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked a little rough.
But that made me tear up, too. Daniel was so happy.
But the way that he went to Daniel, it wasn't like, my cat will come directly to me. We were figuring they probably had trainers on either side of Daniel, like, all right, come this way. No, come this way. And so he did a little zigzag.
Yeah, but why didn't Daniel, look around? He couldn't have just thought that Skidmark just made his way back to him.
Yeah, as much as the whole mysterious, we kind of know she's there but not, it would have been really nice to see her reunite at least with a few people other than Madison, but I get why they didn't. But
I kind of expected them to walk into the middle of that group of trucks and be like, "Hi guys."
Yeah, and everyone be like, "Ah!" And then
so they assumed Madison was dead, but Tracy went by herself, this little itty bitty girl, and dug her out by herself, found her
for 2 days
after she dug her own father's grave and buried him too.
Yeah,
can't forget that.
That is a very capable kid, but it's like none of them just wanted to look to see if maybe she survived. I don't know how much oxygen though was in that tank for her to survive that long, and that's like pure oxygen. It's not like a mix, so I'm not sure how.
Well, did she run off with Strand though after she buried Troy? Tracy?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you because they were playing with time a bit and it was confusing
Well, no,
me.
she had buried him, and then she had the gun, and Strand found her and said, I want you to, I want to tell you what Madison did. So if it took Tracy 2 days to get Madison out, she'd already been there for a couple days because it would have taken, Strand time to find Tracy to tell her at least a day. So after 3 days, she rose. I don't know. We're getting kind of biblical.
Whoa.
There was like that transition with the whole Madison and Alicia and Tracy all meeting each other, and then the switch to Victor finding the flowers in the truck. That between that and that, it was so emotional for me that I did stop and I did react and said a few things and put it on my Instagram story. And the young girl that plays Tracy, she saw it and she actually messaged me, and she messaged me and she was like, my heart, and she had like a little heart emoji and a kiss, and it was so adorable. I was just like, and then I messaged her back and I just told her that a lot of us on the panel thought that she was such a good actress, and I told her she definitely has a bright future ahead of her.
And I hate that it's short.
Did you invite her to the panel? That would have been epic.
She said that she followed you.
Really?
So that she said that she followed you to watch if she gets notifications. So
yeah, if she's on this panel, Governor, you better calm down. If she's gonna,
her name is Antonella. Antonella Rose.
Imagine she's just been lurking in the chat this whole time, just with a bowl of popcorn.
Yeah.
Say hi, Antonella.
Yeah, but like the flowers.
Tell anyone you're here.
Like with the flowers, only thing I could think of was when she plucked up the flowers, I thought about Nick. When him laying there and all of a sudden, what happened had happened and stuff like that.
Don't talk about Nick.
No, I'm not gonna talk about. No, I ain't.
So this guy was a crackhead.
No, heroin addict.
Nick was the one that started the Walker camouflage
in fear.
Like,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they just saw him wasted as a heroin addict and assumed he was one of. No, I'm kidding. Again, that was one of my issues at the beginning, is that one of our heroic characters was in such a horrible. I'm not saying that people who are addicts, and it's a sickness, could not recover and become great people. But it just seemed very odd that he was like someone who survived, because I would see a lot of the addicts as not really being able to handle a post-apocalyptic world. They'd be going through withdrawals. They'd be
I feel like they skipped past the detox a little bit too quick at the beginning, because they started showing it like right when they were leaving the neighborhood, but then it was like they just kind of forgot about it. And they had a few times where he was like left wandering in the desert for like days.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was just fine. I'm like,
I think he was processing. Every time he went off on his own, that was just his way.
Track.
Yeah, it was just his way to kind of bring himself back to himself and to think about things and to.
Like you've seen a journey, like with when he be on his own, like kind of like not only he had to deal with apocalyptic world, but with his addiction as well. Like you've seen that journey. But with people who are addicts, I mean, they out here sleeping under bridges or what have you. Yeah. They know how to navigate out here. Okay, they know what places to go and how people are. So if anything, Nick is the one person that I would have by my side, because if I can't see BS, he probably can see BS. He's like, you haven't been out here in these streets like I have. Okay, so I got a family member who's an addict. So
I feel like every family can relate to that in one way or another.
Yeah,
my family has a share of recovered and recovering and relapsed people, but
they know how to steal too. And it's like, this is what you do. This is how you steal. If you want to get well, you got to be like smart about it.
And I feel like that's why so many people gravitated towards Nick, is because he had that arc where he was bad and then he was good and then he was down again and then he was up again. So it was
one of my favorite arcs that I was looking forward to in the show that could have possibly been my favorite in the entire like Fear series was Nick and Morgan. That seemed like one of the most interesting dynamics, like long term, because of what Nick was going through at the time and what Morgan was bringing to the table. And the fact that he was like showing interest in the book and like trying to, like, he was almost enamored by Morgan. And I felt like
Charlie.
that was taken away.
Because he wanted off.
Yeah.
I will forever be interested in their original plan before Cliff and Frank wanted off. I know that they were planning on making our core group slowly turn into villains. Like that was the main concept for the show. And they kind of sort of did that with Madison this season a bit, but I don't know. It would have been cool to see everyone like slow roll into villains and we were just like there with them the whole time, just like, oh, I see what's happening and we can't stop it.
I mean, on the other hand, you know, having a relationship begin and then be cut short by violence or tragedy, it's kind of real life. You know, that actually added a bit of realism to the show. I'm not saying I wanted Nick to die. In fact, I actually enjoyed the interactions between Morgan and Nick, and I was like, that's kind of cool. But for him to die tragically, unfortunately, that's part of real life. People are cut short, you know, all the time. You know, Heath Ledger, his untimely demise, whatever happened to Matthew Perry, you know, and those are like celebrities. It happens for regular, you know, non-famous folk all the time, that people just die tragically and all that potential is wasted. So that added a little bit of realism for me. I'm not saying I liked that it happened, but it was a little bit realistic. But I was just getting to like Nick, and then he was gone.
Never love a character in the show.
I wasn't a massive fan of Nick all throughout 3. So when this change started happening, like the flashbacks with him, I liked that he was acknowledging the PTSD from being out there as much as he was. And because, like, I feel a lot of people don't realize or forget, the first 2 seasons of Fear happened before Rick woke up. So this is when everyone's like really like trying to figure out what's going on. And a lot of that, you know, you could look back at Shane and everyone's like, oh, he's so awful. But think of everything that everyone in Fear went through. Shane went through all that shit trying to get like Lori and Carl out of the city and like all that. And obviously we don't have to talk about, like, Shane wasn't a great guy. I know that. But the PTSD and stuff, I feel like is very understated, at least in the early days before everyone just had it and you couldn't really use it as an excuse because everyone has it. But it was one of those dynamics. I feel like Fear hadn't really fully tackled the PTSD thing yet, and I was so interested in the way they were going to do it. And then I was like, okay, so maybe not with him, but we'll get it with Madison and Alicia, right? No, Madison was gone, and I'm like, okay, so we'll get it with Alicia and Luciana and Strand, right? And then they just kind of like forgot Luciana half the time, and then Strand went on his villain arc, so that was kind of, it was expected. But yeah, it definitely was very realistic, and it was the whole anyone can die at any time kind of thing. And I don't know, it just didn't make me any less bummed about it.
And you saying that reminds me, and you talking about that reminded me of the end of the finale when Daniel and Strand were talking to each other. That made me emotional too. Just hearing, what's the actor's name? Ruben Blades. Is that his name? Just hearing him bring Daniel kind of full circle into owning his own shit and letting Strand know that, and then them having this this arc together where they finally had an understanding of each other, and he believed that he is changing and that they can change together instead of to be against each other. Like, I thought that was absolutely beautiful. I loved that.
They've been beefing for so
And he
long.
even
Yes.
learned German for him. He was speaking to him in German as he walked away, and I thought
Did
that was
you-
so sweet.
I wasn't gonna say, I didn't get the vibe that he learned it for him. I got the vibe he already knew it.
I mean,
Really?
he was like
Yeah.
what, some kind of super operative, you know.
Yeah, he was like he was the Saeed
That
of
is
Fear the
true.
Walking Dead. He was a torturer in
Oh yeah.
the military.
No,
So
I
I
don't
feel
think
like
he
he
learned it
kind
for
of
him.
Good point. Yeah, I mean, who can?
But
forget
regardless,
that
it was
interrogation
nice
with Sean
that-
Hannity.
they had that, like, that just them. But I really hope that Coleman continues to do a frequent amount of projects, because I
Just started a
anytime
movie
he's
on
on
Netflix.
screen. No, I'm saying just like other, like I hope that there's a show, because whenever he's on screen, he commands the entire, and I
He's
love it
awesome in
so-
Euphoria.
He's in Euphoria?
Yeah, he
No,
fucking kills
yeah.
it in that, bro.
Yeah,
They have a
Okay.
whole special with just it's
Ugh.
literally 50 minutes of just him and Rue talking.
Yeah,
I,
he's not
well, I
in it a
haven't
whole
watched any
lot,
of
but he's
Euphoria, so
powerful.
Nah, it's awesome.
I
That
just
show,
know
like that
it's
show is
difficult
hit you
to
in your
react
feels,
to
bro.
because it's got
a
more
lot of like
nudity than shameless.
dongs and tits.
so.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
why you
not
blur
streaming
stuff,
soon.
man.
I know
that shit
but
does well on my channel. I ain't gonna front, bro.
No, I'm not surprised. It's from what I hear, it has a lot of reaction worthy things that happen. So I get it.
I don't know.
right.
So they kind of set it up so that it's an ending, but it's also a beginning because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's
I feel
going
like that's how a
separate
lot of
ways.
shows are ending nowadays because spin-offs are like the real money makers nowadays. So it's like almost every show will end with
And if
some
they don't do
type
a
of
spin-off,
opening.
they can always license novels, and we can get the, Fear the Walking Dead novels coming out to follow up on the stories.
I just feel like with Fear, if they're gonna do a spinoff, like I said before, maybe Dwight. That makes a whole lot of sense. But other than that, I think it's fine for what it is. Like, you don't need a spinoff for Fear. They did.
Yeah, but I was kind of in the same boat. I said I think the fact that they specifically mentioned where they were going, whereas everyone else, Madison and Alicia, they were kind of leaning like we could go to LA, but I wasn't 100% sure that they were doing it.
No, they seem to say we're going to L.A. Let's go
Yeah.
home to L.A. And then there was a sign that said Los Angeles this direction,
Okay.
which didn't
I-
make a
I
lot of
wasn't able to
sense
read
for
the
the
sign,
distance
but-
that we're that they're
Yeah,
gonna
where
have to
they are,
travel.
where they're supposed to be right now.
It's like
but-
let's
well, no,
shove it in their
they-
face that they're going back to L.A.
Yeah, but the fact that they specifically had Dwight and Sherry mention the area that they did either strongly leads me to believe they're considering either a spin-off with them or bringing them back into the story in some capacity for either whatever comes after the ones who live or in the ones who live or something. Which, side note, I am so excited for that after seeing Terry O'Quinn as like the main villain.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so hyped. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and that's not till February, so I will.
know.
I'll be able to watch this shirt.
Ain't that something? Because we've been on here with Dead City, the
Daryl
Walking
Dixon, yeah.
We
Yeah,
pretty
David
much
Dixon.
after the end of the main show, we've been here. Did we
With
take a little
everything.
bit of a break? But we finished up the main show. We were here for we did a lot of trivia. We were here for Daryl Dixon. We were here for Dead City. Yeah, it's been a long road getting from there to here. It's been a long time.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
then
here is Sky.
eight.
Hi, Sky.
But for Fear, the last, because people don't like, I'm gonna say that most people don't even like the show, but for it to last for 8 seasons,
That's the
Yeah,
successful
there's a whole-
spinoff. At the end of the day, that's the successful spinoff.
Yeah.
like that is like amazing for it to 8 seasons. I mean, it could have ended like maybe at 4 or 5.
Mhm.
Excuse me.
Hey, Stargate
But-
Atlantis only lasted 5 seasons, which is a shame.
Yeah.
8 seasons, 100% makes it a successful spinoff. Doesn't matter if it didn't do well. like story
kept it
wise,
going.
whatever. It did good enough
Wait,
for it to
isn't
continue going.
isn't the magic number anything more than 3? Doesn't Netflix cancel everything after 3?
Don't even get me started with that, bro.
Well, there's.
Maybe.
I heard something about a rule that
Maybe.
if the show is the same name after 3 seasons, they have to pay more, which is why some series Disney has had like 2 seasons of, and then the 3rd season was renamed, but it was still a continuation.
Like the OA. I don't know if any of you have seen the OA, but I loved the OA, and they canceled that after 2 seasons. I was like,
Well,
Nope.
sometimes they just cancel shit that they shouldn't cancel.
Yeah.
Firefly. Yeah.
But what I realized, like with like either even with the main show and this show, is like every time when it's season of threes, like season 3, season 6, or season 9, what have you, they always do good. It's just like 3 is a lucky number. Like not The Walking Dead. Fear the Walking Dead season 3 and season 6 was good. It was like, oh, come up with season 9, but no, they say, oh, we're going to cancel season 8. Like what? Like okay, I mean, only 2 good seasons was 3 and 6, and that's about it. But with Strand and Morgan, I like their little story arc. When they coming like head to head, and when Morgan was like, if I find out if you hurt any of my family, and then all of a sudden Strand say, bring it. I'm like, oh, we gonna see that fight. But
those are very strong men, facing off, though strong in different ways. As Daniel called Strand, generally more of a shyster, more of a trickster, a con man. But I think we're going to see, there's some talk about a CRM spin-off, and I think we're going to see The Ones Who Live, we're going to see a lot more of the CRM. Because, they're the main antagonist, I believe, because Michonne has to rescue Rick the Prick from their clutches. So
I am still holding out to see Maggie Grace come back to this show as Al.
I know. I was really, that was one of the things I was really hoping to see in this
I think her
finale.
girlfriend is going to be like Jadis's right hand person, and then we're going to see Al again.
Yeah,
they're going to be living
hope so.
happily ever after.
Because like when they had like the CRM, and then you see like The Walking Dead in one ring, you see Fear in the other one. I think the other one was The World Beyond, and the other one,
Yep.
I think it's so. And I'm like, oh, is it a possibility that maybe The Walking Dead and Fear is going to cross over to fight this common cause with the CRM? But then it didn't happen. With Fear, they just talked about it, and it's just.
Maybe the CRM is going to be like the Thanos of the Walking Dead universe. And there's going to be some super event where they bring everyone together from Fear, from whoever's left over from World Beyond, maybe even a few, people from Tales, and of course the main show, and they all have to face off against the CRM.
That one final spin-off that would end everything.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and like phase 4, because then they still want to make money. But then there'd be the aftermath and rebuilding. But then a new threat appears. But they'll never be without that. But I could see it being some kind of CRM being like the main villain that everyone has to gang up and join together to face off against.
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
My daughter wants to say hi to Sky. Hello.
Say hi, Sky.
Aww.
She's
so cute.
She wears your hoodie. The hoodie with you on. And then she goes around, some old guy who opens up toys. It's his cat.
He's still holding on to that. That hit him deep.
It's not untrue. Shit, I got toys around me right now.
But I feel like it's like simplifying the job. Like when people say, oh, this is Paul, he watches TV for a living. Like, I mean, I understand that's what I do, but I want to be known a little more for that.
Yeah, we have layers, don't we?
There's layers
Don't we,
to
Paul?
it.
So many layers.
It's like the way
That's
she
just
was.
one.
It's like the way Mombi was talking about your paper job. she was like, "Oh yeah, you just throw newspapers at doors." But I understand that's basically how it is. But I mean, it's like, don't shit on it, man.
No, I was
walked.
trying to make it sound like it was fun. I mean, that's a boy's dream, is to ride his bike all over the place back in the day, right? You just love to ride your bike.
Shoot,
I
I love to ride my
just
bike.
like to get away from my brother. But no, there was this one paper customer. It was a couple, and the guy's father was living with them. He was an older gentleman, and he would walk every day just down the road and back, and I would stop and have conversations with him. He was like 70 years older than me, but we would just chat, and it was an interesting time growing up. But
Oh,
but anyways,
Back in my day.
back in my day, well, I'm
Are you
still
still
the oldest
young,
one
though?
in this.
you're still
family.
young though.
You got a young
One
heart.
ain't old. It ain't.
Well,
I guess because I'm almost heading to my 40s soon. So it's kind of like really truly it ain't
Yeah, if
old.
I could
It
be in my
ain't
40s
young
again.
like 20 though. It ain't young like 20 though, but you're still young. 51, 50 ain't
52.
52?
52.
Oh,
I didn't-
Mr.
I
Rex
didn't
said that
realize
he
he crossed
wished
50.
he would have saw Alex again. That's true. I really liked Alex too.
I thought she died.
Did she? In the boat?
I
No.
thought so.
No, because Strand, yeah. Now whatever happened when she was on the boat with that walker, maybe she did, but we didn't see her. The only thing we saw was Strand cutting
Yeah, Strand just let him
cutting off that
go.
rope, and then she was just like, "No," I was like, "I know that turkey didn't," and that she was just, But the actress though, I don't know if y'all seen this show back in, oh gosh, because when she came on Fear, I'm like, I know that ain't the girl, because she played in the Tribe. The mall rats and everything else. It's almost like an apocalyptic world. It's like, but it's with kids. And I'm like, oh, that's that girl from the Tribe. I'm like, and I was hoping that she would like appear like maybe in the last episode or just say, hey, Strand, hey, you see what you did? But no, I thought Taka maybe appear, Walker may appear, like just say, hey, hey Madison, how you doing and what have you. But no, they just let all the good ones go. That's how Fear does it. So
Yeah, they cleaned house. But I did like the case, that over the shoulder soft cat carrier that Alicia had. When you think about it, as long as you can avoid the bitus, when there's an apocalypse and all these people are dead, you have like shopping is like amazing because you can get whatever you want. You don't have to pay for it.
no.
That's why I got like $500 vests and $1,000 walking coats as the governor, because you can just get whatever you want from these high-priced stores after the end of the world.
Man, I don't know, because when I think I reacted to one of the episodes in the main show where Negan was walking to a mall, I think not a mall, but like a clothing store, and it was hardly no clothing store. I guess he was looking for a jacket. And I'm like, I say, look, there's no shirt, nothing, not even in my size. Why people want to get a small, when it's not their size anyway? I say, see, you can't get nothing in the apocalyptic world.
It's
No
10-5.
medicine, no jeans,
Well,
no nothing.
as time goes by, things start to disappear. But, he did get a leather jacket out of the deal.
Yeah.
But then when I
Yeah.
saw Princess, I'm like, hold up, we got clothes here, but we got walkers though. She was doing the Daryl Dixon moment, that symphony when all the. I'm like,
Yeah.
Princess, wait, I just want to have people. I want people. I was like, well, they ain't people.
That's another thing. I
her
wish
heart
that we
they
would
are.
have found out exactly how Alicia got back into such good health. She was so bad off for so long. How did she just make such a miraculous recovery?
Well, it had been like, what, 7 years since we saw her last? So,
Mhm.
Did the Alicia?
she was sick, but
Explained it.
if she did get better,
But did they explain it? The Alicia's cult. when they was talking to Strand in the
I mean, they just
She appeared.
they like what they saw and they wanted to do it.
so they didn't explain how she came back to help.
And Alicia's
That's
like,
another thing is I felt like Alicia didn't even know those people. She said what she said made it seem like she saw them from afar acting like her and never actually knew that was a thing.
Yeah.
That was
well,
Pretty much.
I think
Okay,
she
that's
put
obsessed.
it together that
they obsessed. Okay.
that she had inspired them,
Mm.
to do good stuff, like Tracy's real mother, who turned out to be, the mother that she thought she had in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Damn Troy and his lies. But yeah, just for
Not Jadis's bowl cut.
I just think it's interesting
Wild.
that she felt she was better to be gone and a legend than alive and working with these people.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's always independent, and that's always been her thing. Or not?
Isn't that
Negan
right,
meets
Scott?
Teddy, that would be crazy.
Lord.
But Negan as like Savior Negan or Negan as like now Negan?
Either way, it was like once you mess with his group, and like we said in Dead City, like if he's like looking after somebody, he would turn into that monster real quick. So it's kind of like you don't touch me and mine, So if he meets Teddy, he probably will be calm and say what he got to say. But if Teddy ain't listen, then he was like, "We're gonna f him up." Okay, that's how.
I think it would have been really cool. I mean, obviously it won't happen, but how we have heard Kirkman talk about possibly making Rick the villain and seeing Negan from the way that we see from the way that we see Rick. It would have been really cool if a villain came along threatening both Negan and Rick, which caused them to work together and just put aside all of their differences, and then they'd have forgot about it all from the get-go.
I would love to see a kind of what if animated series for The Walking Dead. Like, what if instead of the governor, doing this, if he basically trusted Rick and he and his people moved into the prison and the prison just continued to thrive, and what would that have been like, and what would have screwed up things in the future, or Negan would have come across the prison and found out it was a thriving community but not so easy to intimidate. So that would have been an interesting what if. I mean, kind of like that Michonne episode where she basically, that was
like
a
imagining
cool episode.
Rick and the governor out in the plowing the field, like collars unbuttoned, just laughing, and then Negan strolls up and they just look at each other and laugh. It's just like a totally different thing. Wild.
Why can't we just get along? There are days I wonder what would have happened. I actually wanted to do like a little fan film because I had done this Doctor Who series of fan commercials around TARDIS Express where people would send messages to themselves in the past. And so I wanted to do like a reenactment of that scene about to with Herschel on the ground. And then a TARDIS Express delivery guy shows up and says, "I got a message for you." And I take it out and I'm like, "Hey, this is my handwriting." Or no, this is just telling me if I do this, I'm going to get stabbed in the back, shot in the head, and no one's going to get to prison. Rick, let's try it your way. So it would be interesting to see,
Yeah.
that type of thing. But anyways, so
I'm not sure about you guys, but it's 10:30 and I need to get going. But I
was gonna
really
say, let's
just
wrap
wanted
this
to
up.
I really wanted to just kind of wrap things up and say that I really did like this finale. I thought that they brought back just enough. I thought they wrapped up just enough. I thought that they really brought the emotion. I loved it, and I am very sad that it's over, but at the same time, it's almost poetic. I mean, they ended the main show, and then 1 year later they ended its baby, and I think it just all came together pretty well. And I know there's a lot of people that didn't like it, but I feel like I'm one of the few actual Fear fans that stuck through it the whole time, and I really did enjoy it.
I still have some Fear to watch, but that's like season 2, season 3. I got to go back. I don't think I'll ever watch season 5 again. But yeah, I agree. So let's wrap this up. I think we all have some stuff to do, and we had a late night last night. Busy, your final thoughts on Fear?
All right, so I want to put it out there. I'm a huge Walking Dead fan, and I love Fear, but I need to say, just because I had some things that I didn't like doesn't mean at the end of the day I'm glad that I was able to experience the show, and that I'm glad that I was able to experience it on camera with a lot of you guys, because I know a lot of the reactions did well, and I'm just glad that I had the opportunity to do this. You know what I'm saying? But me having moments where I shit on the show, I'm only gonna shit on something that I'm very passionate about. So of course, the love I have for this show has made me extremely passionate for the characters. So that's the reason why I do speak up. At the end of the day, I'm glad that I was able to watch this and happy for the memories. And it sucks to see it go, but at the same time, I'm happy that we were able to have it in the first place. So there's that.
Truer words were never spoken. Bay.
Well, Fear. I love Fear. I think it's less toxic within the fandom than The Walking Dead. I mean, I think it's more enjoyable in that sense of because it's less toxicity and people can debate healthy in a way and still enjoy the show in a way. But I have been through it. I've been watching it since day one, and I have reacted to it for like season 3. And then when I finished doing my reactions, and even though I have some problems with it, but at the end of the day, I like Busy. Even though I have problems, I still love it. And for 8 seasons, Fear, you did good. You did good. And I don't know what to say. I'm just so butthurt that that is over. I mean, yes, we have the spinoffs, but The Walking Dead and Fear, that is it. That is it. And so thank you, Fear, for giving us a whirlwind, ups and downs. That's how the world is. We up and down. So, but thank you, Fear. Y'all can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, dim_mayhem.
All right, Jack.
You both captured quite a few of the same points that I feel. It's part of the Walking Dead universe. I love The Walking Dead. I've loved The Walking Dead since Halloween 2010 when I first started watching it at a mere 13 years old. It's been a wild ride. And similar to both of you, though there were points that I was not crazy about, I'm only openly vocal and critical of the things that I'm truly passionate about. If I genuinely didn't like it or care, I wouldn't express my criticisms as much. I would just stop watching or just be very dismissive about it. But we care, and that's why we express the opinions that we do. And I understand a lot of times when people are going to see reactions or reviews, things of that nature, most of the time they're looking for people either with very similar opinions to theirs or the polar opposite, usually more so the same opinions. And that's why there's a plethora of amazing people out there that have done their fair share of reactions to the show. Some love it, some hate it, some love to hate it. And I think all of us fall somewhere in between. I'm looking forward to seeing if we see any of these characters again someday. I feel the finale wrapped up about as good as it could. And it, despite, like I said, having a few issues with things along the way, it stuck its landing. So you can follow me pretty much everywhere, Jack's World. and look forward to seeing you all again soon.
And my thoughts on this, I have been pretty critical of some of the writing, a lot of the writing in this show. This show has had its ups and downs, but to be fair, the main show has had its ups and downs. I mean, you know, there were certain seasons that had some low points that seemed to drag on. There were certain seasons that 7 and 8 in particular that were not as popular. Though they still had merit in watching them at least once. And I think for a show that was not based off of a comic book, that did not have such rich lore to pull from, 8 seasons is pretty impressive. I can't say I agree with all the writing decisions, but this last 12 episode season, again, I do get the impression that they wanted to do a full 16, and that's probably why some of the things were rushed, but I have to say that this finale wrapped up a lot of things, especially with Skidmark, because Skidmark, that was my favorite character. Other than John Dory, Skidmark was like right up there. So, but yes, it had a lot of touching moments, and I thought it wrapped up well. And as they say, there are always possibilities. So hopefully, Tales of the Walking Dead or whatever, we will revisit our friends from this series once again. And be sure, again, subscribe to Fandom Spotlight and Jack's World, and follow Dim Mayhem over there, and TWD Mombi and Busy Brawn everywhere. And I am looking forward to rejoining this group in February. But we are going to take a break for the holidays and recover, because now we have 2 shows to mourn. So we need a little time. And but we will hopefully be assaulting your ears and eyes in February, talking about the ones who live. And thanks everyone out there. Thanks everyone in here. You have been great. And hopefully we'll have many more adventures together. And everyone out there, thanks so much for joining us. We will see you in February. Governor and this amazing, amazing crew, we are out. Everyone look awkward for one last time. And we can look at the back of Busy's head.
Highly sedated, intoxicated. We're automated and overpopulated. We're all fish in a stream, swimming towards a vicious dream. Don't you know we're the walking dead, dead, dead? Our lives were meant to be this bleak. Somehow they got into our heads, heads, heads. We're wide awake, yet still asleep. We're the walking dead. sedated, intoxicated. We're automated and overpopulated. Don't you know we're the walking dead, dead, dead? Our lives were meant to be this bleak. Somehow they got into our heads, in our heads. We're wide awake, yet still asleep. We're the walking dead. We're the walking dead, dead. Oh, 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 oh. We're the walking dead. We're the walking dead, dead. Oh, 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 oh. Highly sedated, intoxicated. We're automated and overpopulated. We're all fish in a stream, swimming towards a vicious dream. Don't you know